Hello and welcome to a new video. Today we're going to take a look at the best Pokemon to build in 2026 for the Open Ultra League. I only recently made a video towards the Great League for the same kind of topic. We're going to take a look at 10 Pokemon that I think are going to be viable throughout the entire year of 2026 and absolutely worth it to build. And you enjoyed this video a lot. And you've been asking if I could do it for the other leagues and if I could do a second part for the Great League, which I will do over the upcoming week here as well on this channel. So definitely stay tuned, subscribe if you haven't done that yet. I would really appreciate it. Helps me out a ton. And let's start into the 10 Pokemon that I would recommend you currently to build for the Open Ultra League if you don't have them yet, because they're very likely gonna be here to stay. Starting off with a Jellicent. This Pokemon is currently number 4 on the PvPoke ranking, and for good reason. This Pokemon got so many buffs recently, making it nearly impossible to nerf in the future. What we have here is one of the strongest and most flexible Pokemon that you can currently have. And basically what you're gonna see here today is also the traits that Pokemon got from PvPoke on in this video here. And we see here already it's extremely bulky, it is spammy, it's flexible, it's dynamic, it has shield pressure with Shadow Ball now being one of the strongest moves in the game. And with that, it has a ton of bulk, like it's super defensive, as you can see as well. The overall stamina and the defense is really high for a Pokemon like this. You want ideally a 6, 14, 15 to get the perfect IVs for the Go Battle League. I will make in the future though on this channel as well another video towards the PvP IVs explained, because there's actually a lot more to it than I think a lot of people know. So stay tuned for this. Like I have a big list of things I want to still talk about here on the channel. So yeah, stay tuned for that. But again, here 6, 14, 15, you see it in the middle basically on the screen is where you see the rank 1 IVs, which is like the best possible IVs. Kinda, most of the times, just get close to that, absolutely fine, gets up to 2500 CP, and here we see already the moveset of this Pokemon. Shadow Ball is ridiculous. On a Ghost type Shadow Ball, 120 damage is stab included already for 50 energy. You need 4 hexes in order to get to it. That is wild. Like, that is so insanely wild. Basically, for 5 less energy, you have Surf, which only does 90 damage, which is honestly, like, yeah, if you can go for Shadow Ball, just go for Shadow Ball. Like, Shadow Ball is absolutely broken, which makes this Pokemon so good. But yeah, this only got recently buffed. I can't see that getting nerfed anytime soon. But even if it gets nerfed, Jellicent still was really good prior already. Now it's just broken. Even if Hex somehow gets totally nerfed, you still have Bubble as an alternative option, which I've even seen people play already at this point, which gives you then more fast move pressure, does a little bit more damage per turn compared to the Hex. But it does generate energy quite a little bit slower then as well. But it still would be absolutely viable. This Pokemon is amazing. If you take a look here at the weaknesses, you have Dark, Electric, Ghost, and Grass. You can definitely cover for them. But you have so many resistances and 2 double resistances thanks to the Ghost typing on this Pokemon. And this is why this Pokemon is amazing. It has an amazing bulk. It has a very good offensive type as well, which like Ghost type in general is very nice offensively. And it has a nice defensive type as well. So it's one of the best kind of Pokemon that you can currently run. Here's some Pokemon that some of them you're gonna see in this today as well here today. But like those are Pokemon that you can run for like a team with it. You could even run something like Corviknight, say sub Moltres in the back, and then you have a full team that you can run in the Go Battle League, and you're most likely gonna win a lot of battles with this. The second Pokemon is Empoleon. By the way, there's going to be a lot of Pokemon that are gonna not be included in today's video because we only focus on 10. There are so many power Pokemon that I could include. I can make another part 2 of this as well. Depends on if you want to see it again. It depends on the support on the video. But Empoleon is having basically one of its own unique types. Basically, Empoleon can do things that other Pokemon can't do. And this is here we have also now the editor score, which is like a common towards from PvPoke. And basically what you have here is this Pokemon has an impressive typing. This is the only water and steel type Pokemon as far as I know. And it's just so good in the current meta because there are quite a lot of fairy and dragon type Pokemon, which you're going to be able to resist. You have with a Metal Sound now, a fast move that generates energy quite fast. And you have with Hydro Cannon, basically one of the strongest charge moves in the game, which you see here as well, which does 96 damage for 40 energy. And you get there super fast, which is ridiculous. And with Drill Peck, which recently got buffed as well, you have a coverage move that allows you to hit a lot of the types that you're weak to. Like with Ground, for example, as your weakness, you have Hydro Cannon to hit it. With Fighting as a weakness, you have Drill Peck to hit it for super effective damage. So it's basically the only real weakness, like both like defensively and offensively, would be Electric type Pokemon. And that is like, they are not really common. And this is why Empoleon is so strong. It has an amazing defensive typing. It has a very nice coverage. It has coverage for the weaknesses that it has. And look at the resistances of this Pokemon. It is insane. Empoleon is also one of the cheapest Pokemon to build. Only recently had a Community Day Classic. And here's some Pokemon that you can kind of run with it. What I would recommend you to go for, though, is something like Florges, Say Stop, Regidrago in the back or Dragonite in the back, something like this, Corviknight in the back could work out as well, but then you're going to have that weakness to electric type. I wouldn't really recommend you that. So most likely Regidrago is the best Pokemon to have in the back there. Regidrago, by the way, not on the list here today. Still a Pokemon that you can build as well. Same as like Ludicolo. Like all of those Pokemon are very solid right now. And especially Regidrago very late doesn't get nerfed anytime soon either. That was like, if I had a number 11 spot, it would have been Regidrago for this list, by the way. But I have other Pokemon that I have to showcase here first. Florges is kinda the main fairy type that I have here for today. There are other fairy types that are worth building as well, like Togekiss, for example, like Clefable, for example. Those are very good Pokemon as well. Togekiss is nice as a Say-Stop, but generally, if I would need to decide between like all the fairy type Pokemon, which one is the strongest, it is Florges. This Pokemon is so versatile, which is funny because as the editor notes here, like at the trait, it has Inflexible, which is absolutely wrong. This Pokemon is super flexible. Inflexible, by the way, is described as not being able to hit certain types, which I feel like is based on like not being able to hit like Steel type Pokemon that well, because they have Trailblaze and like Fairy type damage. I get that, but like it's very flexible against anything that's not a Steel type, and Steel types are not that crazy common. But basically, Florges is amazing in terms of the coverage that you have. With Trailblaze, you're going to be able to hit like Pokemon. There are a lot of water type Pokemon here for super effective damage, basically. With Chilling Water, you're going to be able to hit Pokemon, like especially fire type Pokemon for super effective damage. Speaking of fire type Pokemon, Talonflame not on the list. Talonflame still a very solid Pokemon to build for this meta. Same as Gallagher, which are kind of more the main weaknesses of fairy types usually, but this Pokemon can deal with it. Chilling Water guarantees the attack drop, as you can see here as well, onto the opponent, while Trailblaze gives you a guaranteed attack buff on yourself. And this is kind of where, honestly, like you have kind of the option to either ramp up your own damage or drop the opponent's damage, depending on which kind of situation you're in, which makes this Pokemon absolutely fantastic to have. And here as well, you have the option to still go for Disarming Voice if you want to have fast damage, fairy type damage as well, which is doing way more damage than, for example, a Trailblaze or Chilling Water. Or if you want to nuke them, go for Moonblast. Usually people are opting to go for Chilling Water Moonblast as an alternative option compared to the Trailblaze version here. But as a pure fairy type, you're weak to poison and steel, but you have actually 4 resistances and 1 double resistance here as well with the dragon typing, which is kind of nice. So like you're way nicer as a defensive type as well. And poison is super rare, and steel is also quite rare, to be fair. It's only really Corviknight and Empoleon, which are also good Pokemon to pair it with. So yeah, this is going to be it for Florges. Next up, Corviknight. Sorry. This Pokemon was also for the Great League in the video, and for good reason. This Pokemon is so worth it for everything. I can't see this Pokemon getting nerfed anytime soon either. And here, the editor choice kind of already says this is a fundamental pick here, basically, like foundational pick for the team building. It's foundational for the team building because what you have here is a Pokemon that's insanely flexible. It's super flexible. It's one of the, if not the best Say-Stop, but you can also utilize this options here basically in a different way. You can use it as a lead, for example, and with that you have a very nice neutral lead against nearly everything in the current meta, and you either win it or you lose it just barely and maybe get like a shield advantage, and then you can have like a core in the back that's really working well together that you can set up with it. Corviknight is also possessing one of the best types in the game. Flying and Steel is ridiculous. Flying and Steel here, by the way, the moves Sand Tech, I don't think it's gonna get nerfed. Air Cutter, only Community Day move. It's not even that strong, but it's gonna have the 30% chance of boosting your own attack up, which, by the way, changes matchups completely if you get it, which is amazing, which is, by the way, not really calculated in P-Poke in there yet at all, because I think it's always like the second Air Cutter or whatever in the calculations gives you the attack boost, not the first. But if you get it immediately, like, it changes the game entirely. Payback is an amazing coverage move. Iron Head is also fine, is also a legacy move for whatever reason, but it is a legacy move. It's like when it got first released, got this as a legacy move in the release event for whatever reason. But it's alright as a coverage move as well. But Sky Attack also got buffed now, so even if Air Cutter somehow gets nerfed, Sky Attack is still there to pick it up. But basically here, the resistances and the weaknesses is what I want to talk about. You resist nearly everything, and you're weak to 2 types. And that is just wild. You have 3 double resistances in Grass, Poison, and Bug. You have so many like normal resistances against literally top meta typings like Dragon, Fairy, and Ground. It's wild. Like, it is absolutely wild. Here's some teammates with it. It's absolutely worth building Corviknight. It's more of a TED talk here today as well. Like, I just talk more about why those Pokemon are so amazing, which I see a lot of people enjoyed in the last video. So here, a bit more explaining on why Pokemon are good and why not. Gastrodon, again, isn't a fantastic Pokemon. The main reason for this is a Mud Slap. Mud Slap, though, I have to say, like, while I have Gastrodon on this meta here, because, like, I can't see it getting changed anytime soon, but it could get changed. Mud Slap might receive a nerf eventually. It might get, like, a small damage reduction. I could see this happening. I don't know if it's going to happen anytime soon. That's why I still can't want to include here, because I feel like it is worth it. Even if Mud Slap gets nerfed a tiny bit, Gastrodon's still going to be strong. Definitely. Because Water and Ground is a fantastic type. This Pokemon is nice and bulky, and it's now a staple in the format basically because it's a counterplay against a lot of Pokemon. Also Bellybolt. Bellybolt got nerfed though, so it's not really as common anymore, but it's really, really good. The only thing, and why it says also it's a volatile, is because of the double weakness that you have, which is the double weakness to Grass. But you can cover it up with a team. Grass types are not that common. We have one Grass type because of Gastrodon and because of the meta itself on this list. But this Pokemon functions more as a ground type compared to like a water type because of the Mud Slap damage they have. It's nice and bulky. It has a nice amount of resistances. It has a ton of hidden powers that you could learn, which nobody cares about. But Mud Slap, and then we have options of either Water Pulse or Earth Power. Both of them are kind of fine. Water Pulse is nice because of the pacing. The pacing is way better. But Body Slam is a cheap move. It's just a really, really good Pokemon. Like, it's just a really, really good Pokemon that I would really recommend you to build. Here, you have a ton of good resistances, like 5 good resistances, and only 1 weakness with the Grass. Being a double weakness, of course, is going to be very difficult to go up against. But use, for example, Corviknight as your say stop. Have Gastrodon lead, Corviknight say stop, Moltres in the back, and you're fine. You have 2 Pokemon against Grass in the back. You're going to be alright then. So, like, this is kind of why this Pokemon is here. Like, it's so amazing. It has so much play. It's so bulky. And we can move on to the next Pokemon, which is going to be Lickilicky. You really want to have Lickilicky. Lickilicky is a fantastic Pokemon as well. Has a Rollout, Body Slam, and Shadow Ball. Shadow Ball only got buffed this season. Like, maybe if you see this video a little bit later, like a few seasons back. But basically, this Pokemon is absolutely fantastic right now, with Rollout being a move that generates energy quite fast, but also gives you kind of cool coverage now with rock typing against like flying type Pokemon. You do still, it actually does chunk quite a bit. We have Body Slam as your primary stat move, which is going to be good. And we have a ton of bulk on this Pokemon. You see here, overall bulk 4,600. This is fantastic. And you see here the traits again, extremely bulky, spammy, dynamic, shield pressure because of Shadow Ball. One of the strongest moves here, coverage, of course, that's why it's 100 damage, not 120, which you saw in Jellicent, because there's no stab on it. It's not a ghost type. But for the example here, Body Slam is going to be now a bit stronger on this Pokemon. But even with Body Slam stab, it's stronger to go on neutral matchups for Shadow Ball. Shadow Ball is a stronger move. Here you see Rollout generates energy quite fast there. We have here 13 energy per usage. We have like 4.3 per times 3 turns. So you get 13 energy for each rollout that you go for. And that just gets you so fast to the Body Slam. It's 3 rollouts to a Body Slam. And for the 4th Body Slam, it's only 2 rollouts, which is fantastic as well. You are so spammy with this Pokemon. You have even coverage if you want to for Earthquake and Solar Beam, but Shadow Ball is currently such a clearly better move with the best damage per energy outside of Hyper Beam, which of course is a move that you don't really see generally. But this Pokemon is fantastic. It only, of course, has the weakness to fighting and has double resistance to Ghost. Normal types are very nice neutrally because they don't really have a lot of weaknesses. And even against like the fighting weakness, Annihilate is one of the premier fighting types, which is also, by the way, which I didn't put into the video because there's a different fighting type that I would recommend a little bit more actually in the current meta. But you can hit this Pokemon as well with Shadow Ball then, and it's not actually that big of a weakness. Here we see, Corviknight, Florges, good Pokemon that we already have on the list here that you can compare it with. That's literally, Lickilicky you can pair anywhere. Like, it's such a good Pokemon and so safe against the current meta. So worth it to play. Okay, Moltres is going to be next. Moltres is a legendary Pokemon, quite difficult to get, but it's absolutely fantastic. Like, it's so good. After the Sucker Punch buff, this Pokemon all of a sudden appeared to be like one of the strongest Pokemon ever created, and this is actually #1 Pokemon currently on PvPoke. And it actually has very solid bulk. It has a really nice bulk for the Go Battle League meta. It is going to be, of course, a Pokemon that you have to catch in the wild from the adventure instance. It's quite difficult to get this Pokemon. I used my Master Balls on this one. It says it's inflexible because you have a double flying type charge moveset. That means you cannot hit really steel type Pokemon for super effective damage. But this is, for example, why I recommend you something like a team like Gastrodon, Corviknight, and Moltres, because Gastrodon is going to be good against steel type Pokemon. You have the Corviknight, which has still Sand Tech as a fast move to bait them out. And then you have Moltres in the back, which is going to be able to then sweep endgame. And this is kind of the position where I would recommend you to use this Pokemon because it's amazing at sweeping endgame with a fast move pressure of Sucker Punch, allowing you to farm down a lot of times opponents, and then Fly and Brave Bird doing some nice stab. You can also go for Payback if you want to instead of Brave Bird, but the damage per energy on Fly and on Brave Bird is ridiculous. If you saw as well for the other Pokemon there. like you're able to just do so much damage with this Pokemon. It's ridiculous. Like, it's got access to fly only recently, and it's so fantastic. Like, Moltres is absolutely worth it. Here are the resistances and the weaknesses. It's actually not the best defensive typing, truthfully. Like, there are quite a few weaknesses and also quite common ones, but it's also not a bad one. It's definitely not a bad one. Here's some Pokemon that you want to pair it with. Oh, wow, Jellicent is on there. Interesting. And there's another Pokemon on this list as well. It's going to be here later on, which is now actually Forretress. Forretress is going to be up here. Forretress is going to be a Pokemon that I would recommend here as well. It's, again, very unique in what it can do, and this is kind of more the idea of the video as well. There are alternatives for most of the Pokemon as well that you can build, but those are the kind of best ones that I can't see really getting nerfed anytime soon. For example, Forretress here, Volt Switch, Rock Tomb, and Earthquake. Maybe Rock Tomb gets nerfed eventually, but I can't see it in the current meta. This Pokemon is insanely bulky. You need a 9, 15, 15, by the way, at level 50. Like, most of the Pokemons are quite expensive for the Ultra League. It's bulky, it's defensive, and it says, like, it's clumsy, low shield pressure, volatile. I wouldn't really say that directly. You have quite a bit of pressure as well with a Rock Tomb. Volt Switch is a fast move that does quite a lot of damage. You can use Bug Bite as well, though, if you don't want to run Volt Switch. Volt Switch's main benefit is, though, that you do that they generate energy quite fast, which allows you to get to those Earthquakes and the Rock Tombs really, really fast. But if you go for Bug Bite, you can also go for something like Sand Tomb. You can go for something like the Mirror Shot, which is going to be the bait move that I've seen some people run before as well, which is the cheapest move that this Pokemon can learn. But this Pokemon itself just has a ton of play in the current meta. It's very nice defensively because you have only 1 weaknesses, but 9 resistances, and 2 of them are double resistances here in Grass and Poison. It's an amazing defensive tool with a lot of coverage with Volt Switch, Rock Tomb, and Earthquake. You have a lot of coverage there for this Pokemon, and here's some Pokemon they can kind of pair it with, and one of those Pokemon is still on the list here, which is not Virizion. Virizion should be our second to last one on this list here today. Virizion is our fighting type and our grass type basically for today, because this Pokemon is only really good because the meta we're in. It actually has quite solid bulk. Like, it's not a bad bulk. Like, it has quite some solid bulk just generally. Like, it can take a hit. It's spammy, it's bulky, it has shield pressure. Volatile because you have a double weakness to flying. That's kind of what you have there. But basically what this is happening here, which you see as well in the editor notes, is that you basically have a Pokemon that's only really good here because of the Pokemon that are viable in this meta. We have Bellybolt, which I didn't put into this video because it got nerfed quite significantly, and I'm not too sure on the play of this Pokemon yet. It's still okay, but definitely got nerfed quite a bit. But we have Gastrodon, we have Jellicent, we have Empoleon that are all on the list that you all see as key wins for this Pokemon. For reasons. Feraligatr is one of them as well. And Feraligatr is only not in here because I already had the starter type with the Empoleon. Like, Feraligatr is also one of the Pokemon that you can definitely build. But basically, Virizion here has so much potential in order to deal with them that it's absolutely worth building this Pokemon in this meta in 2026, because if you don't have that one, like, it's one of the best anti-meta Pokemon currently. The resistances and the weaknesses are actually quite bad for it. Like, it's not really good defensively at all. Like, it's good against ground type and water type Pokemon, like, that's kind of cool. But, like, the double weakness of flying, fairy types are quite common, fires are quite common as well, ice type coverage is quite common. It's not the best defensive type, but it's still very good in the current meta. And here are some Pokemon it pairs up with, which is going to be, for example, Corviknight or the Jellicent or the Dusknoir. Shadow Dusknoir is going to be our final Pokemon on this list here today. This is Pokemon number 10. And again, if you want to see more of this kind of type of content, then feel free to let me know down below as well on what you want to see next. Do you want to see the Master League next? Do you want to see another part for the Great League? Or do you want to even see another part for the Ultra League? Because I can make another part for this one as well. But as you guys see here, Shadow Dusknoir is fantastic. This Pokemon has no direct resistance. This is why I want to put it in here. And this is why I put it in here, for example, over an Annihilate. Because I feel like it has a bit more potential in the current meta, because you're going to have the matchup against Jellicent, which is so much better for yourself. You want the Shadow one. I would not recommend you to build a Dusknoir that is not Shadow, personally. Not like this. There are other alternatives that are better than, but Shadow Dusknoir is so spammy, it's flexible, and has a ton of shield pressure with Astonish and Shadow Punch. You have great pacing, which you see here as well, with like 4-3, 4-3 in terms of fast move counts in order to get to the Shadow Punch. Here we see the benefit of Astonish compared to Hex. You do like so much more fast move damage. Yes, you don't generate energy as fast, but you do so much more fast move damage, which is insane. And here the thing is, there's no Pokemon in the current meta that resist both Ghost and Fighting type. There is no Pokemon in the current meta. There's one Pokemon in total in Pokemon that can resist that, which is Hisuian Zoroark, which is still going to take a ton of damage because it doesn't have bulk in order to balance the typing that it has. But this is going to be a matchup here, like Ghost and Fighting type coverage, that has no resistance. And so as soon as you have a bit of energy on this Pokemon, if you farm down something, this Pokemon just destroys anything that comes in. There's nothing that can come in against Ghost and Fighting type coverage. And this is the reason, like this is just why it's so overpowered. There is nothing that can resist it. Here, Rito is Dark and Ghost. Again, you can hit both types, super effective damage with this Pokemon. You have Fighting type coverage for Dark, you have Ghost type coverage for Ghost. Funny. And you have some interesting resistances as a pure Ghost type with 2 double resistances and 2 single resistances, but it's such a good offensive threat. Here are some Pokemon you can want to play it with, like Florges, Corviknight really works out well with it, Lickilicky works out well with it. I would actually run, if I was you, I would run something like the lead of this Pokemon, Dusknoir, pressure them early, have Lickilicky as your say swap, and then kind of anything on the back, to be fair. Like, could be Moltres, for example. Moltres would make a lot of sense then. And yeah, this is going to be it for this video. Hopefully you enjoyed it. It was quite a lot of talking here today, but this is why those Pokemon are very strong. Yeah, hopefully you enjoyed it, and I will see you then in the version for the Master League very soon. Bye bye.